to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is The Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. This piece is just one example of which there are many. This one happens to be from Bloomberg. The links will be on my site, but you can find this piece in many media sources, attacking those countries who will not sign up to the supposedly non-binding friendly UN agreement. And listen to the bias of this piece. It's quite unbelievable that this organisation claims to be a news organisation. I don't. It goes as follows. A toothless UN document is stirring up political trouble throughout Europe, nearly toppling one government. The overreaction to the global compact for safe, orderly and regular migration shows how immigration policies have decoupled from the reality of people moving across borders. Do you see how slanted that is? It continues. In July, the text of the compact was approved by all 193 UN member states, with the exception of the United States, which had pulled out of the talks earlier. Member states are supposed to sign it formally at a special conference, surprisingly enough, in Morocco in December. There's nothing in the document to stop them from doing so. It's a non-binding, good-natured declaration of intent to collect data on migration, adopt data-supported policies, not to violate migrants' human rights, and to make honest attempts to integrate immigrants. Yeah, right. And yet, it has proved politically explosive. Enter what they call Donald Trump. They are so disrespectful, these people. That is President Trump to you ignoramuses. He is the President of the United States. He's not Donald Trump. By withdrawing the US from the compact, he set an example for other anti-immigrant politicians. Not signing the pact has become a matter of sovereignty. Do you see how slanted that is, ladies and gentlemen? I'll read that again. For other anti-immigrant politicians, not signing the compact, or the pact, has become a matter of sovereignty. He's not anti-immigrant at all. Anyway, it continues. Our decisions on immigration policies must always be made by Americans and Americans alone, Nikki Haley, the US ambassador to the UN, said in December, adding that the global approach to the issue was simply not compatible with US sovereignty. That was last December, not this December, so that's confusing. They don't make that clear. The text of the agreement specifically takes care of that objection. The compact reaffirms the sovereign right of states to determine their national migration policy and their prerogative to govern migration within their jurisdiction. This hasn't prevented Hungary from following Trump's lead. That's President Trump to you ignoramuses again. At the press conference, the Austrian Vice-Chancellor Heinz Christian Strack and Foreign Minister, I'm not even going to pronounce his name, branded the pact as a betrayal of Europe and agreed that Austria won't sign. The line to the exit has lengthened. Australia has pulled out, while Poland and the Czech Republic, Croatia and Bulgaria have indicated they won't sign either. In Estonia, discussions about the compact almost triggered the collapse of a government. It goes into details about that, which I'm going to bother. If the Baltic states' lawmakers now vote it down, Estonia won't sign. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker has suggested that the renegades simply weren't familiar with the document. Had they read it, he said, they would have remained inside. Meanwhile, on this side of the Atlantic, and specifically in Canada, Trudeau intends to sign the UN Compact on Migration next month. It gives the UN total control over Canada's immigration numbers, and we do lose sovereignty. First up is 700,000 Muslim migrants being resettled in Canada. Now, this is what I've been saying from the very beginning. 2 to 3 million people are going to be coming here, and it's going to change our cultural makeup forever. This is Trudeau's intention. He cares nothing for Canadians, He cares nothing for Canada. All he cares about is control. Control of you and control of me. You will do what he says when he says. Because he's a tyrant. He's a tyrant. He's a dictator. And more than that, he's a traitor to Canada. Yes, I need to make that very clear. Trudeau is a traitor to Canada. He is destroying our culture. Except, of course, in Quebec, because Quebec's different, it's special. But the rest of Canada can go hang. As long as he gets his voting blocks into the areas he needs to get them into, he doesn't care a jot about you. It's all about control. And equally complicit are the Liberal Communist MPs who side with this guy. Remember that in 2019 when you vote for them. Can you honestly stand up and say that they are in favour of Canada as it is now? No, they're not. They're siding with this traitor to Canada. He's a traitor to this country. I'm being as blunt as that because it's very important that you understand this. Ask your MP next time you see him if he's a Liberal. Is he happy with this migration policy? Is he happy signing over control to the UN of the Canadian immigration policy? Of course, with the exception of Quebec again, because they have their own immigration policy. How can that be, ladies and gentlemen, that one province has its own special immigration policy, and we allow it, but the rest of Canada has to suffer under this traitor Trudeau? For my mind, he should be handcuffed, frog-marched out of the House and Commons, straight into a 6x6 cell, and put in prison for life, or even deported back to Quebec, or better, Cuba. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab and email. You can now find us on Spotify. Just go to the podcast section and type Canadian Politics with a Twist and you'll find us. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio, and please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.